Right now, this question is being asked all over the world. So let's get in. Let's talk about this particular question. Question number 4. The United States government spends $22.6 billion a year on NASA. And since its inception, our country has put $650 billion into understanding and exploring the universe beyond Earth. As humans, we are fascinated with anything beyond our imagination. It's no surprise that we wonder how all the scientific discoveries in space impact how we read and engage with Scripture. So the question here would be, are aliens in the Bible? Some people think that in the book of Ezekiel, that chariot with the wheels that would go in all different directions was a spacecraft. Now, what would the existence of aliens mean for Christians? So, Igal, are there aliens in the Bible? You come on. Okay, what happened to our good friend Dr. Igal? Let's see where Igal is. Okay. Well, it looks like Igal. Well, okay, Igal, you're on, Igal. Go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me now, Rick?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yep.
Okay, great. So we know that in the Bible, we don't have explicit references to aliens or the UFOs, right? The passage that you just mentioned, Ezekiel chapter 1, was a prophetic vision that the God of Israel, Yahweh, gave to his prophet Ezekiel. So there are no UFOs or aliens involved in that prophetic vision. However, I do believe that it is possible to see implicit hints to the existence of what we call today aliens or UFOs. So, for example, there are many people who do encounter what we call aliens, and there are real reports of individuals, both Christians and seculars, who encounter, who see different things, and it's definitely supernatural. So it's not everything that is all fake, you know. So I do believe that the demons manifest as aliens are part of the end time. So we see that what happened in the days of Noah, you will remember, right? Matthew chapter 24, verses 37 to 39. So we know that Jesus Christ predicted that before his second coming, before his return, right, people will experience Noah's days in their own lives. And what happened in Noah's days? It's recorded in Genesis chapter 6, in particular verses 1 through 4, and it speaks about the fallen sons of God. So the fallen sons of God in Genesis chapter 6 are not demons, but they are rebellious spirits that came down to earth, and they procreated, and the giants were the offspring of that sexual union between the fallen sons of God and the daughters of men. So that happened in Noah's days, and Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, tells us that something similar will happen in the future before his visible second coming from heaven. And in Luke chapter 21, we read that we are to expect different supernatural signs in the heavenlies. Okay, and I do believe that those are spiritual manifestations of demonic evil powers that want to distract humans from the gospel and the biblical truth. So I don't devalue. I don't think that it's all like fiction and legend. I do believe there's real reports of UFOs, and those are manifestations of evil spiritual powers. If you want to learn more about this, one of the leading scholars in that field is Dr. Chuck Missler. He's got quite a good teaching on that, and he's written several books on the topic of the UFOs and the Bible. Thank you.
Well, very, very good. Well, Jay, we'll go with you now. What are there aliens in the Bible, and what would the existence of aliens mean for Christianity?
Right. I would say that they're unexplained flying objects, unidentified flying objects in the Bible. That can be, but the question is there alien life? And if we mean alien life, we mean spirit entities, or like those in Genesis 6. I'd say, yeah, those are not natural Earth uh, creatures. So that, I guess, that would qualify as the alien life. So we have that. In the New Testament, we don't have anything explicit, but we do have, of course, demon possession. But as far as materialized spirit entities, we don't see that in the New Testament. And what would happen if there was? Well, the Old Testament does reveal there in Genesis 6 that it is possible to have unnatural life here on earth. That's already been recorded in the Bible, Genesis 6. Could that happen again? I don't know of anything that says it couldn't happen again. So it wouldn't contradict Scripture if there was alien life. It just would be a surprise because there's nothing like that we've seen, in certainly in modern times. And what the Bible predicts is kind of vague. We see some very strange alien life recorded in Revelation, but I consider that to be metaphorical. So I think it would be a surprise, but it wouldn't contradict Scripture.
Well, very, very, both really, really good answers on this, because right now you see a lot of this on the news. You see them observing spacecraft, United States military taking pictures of them. And here's the thought, and it always, in some of these forums I jump on to, and I'm looking for news for the Watchtower, and of course there's different people writing things, but a lot of these forums, they'll say, well, wow, with the existence of aliens, if they ever land here and make themselves known, that's it for God. He's done. People won't believe in him anymore. And then, I'll tell you, Jay, even in the past, and Dr. Egal as well, but, at one point, there was two thoughts on how we got here. Of course, creation and evolution. And now there seems to be a third part of the equation. Some people are now saying that, well, it was neither of those. It was space aliens that came here and put us here. So, as modern society progresses along, it's, things are coming out, and they're always looking for ways to deny God. This is what completely is ludicrous to me. Why would you want to? Why would you want to look for ways to deny something and it's so obvious, at least to Christians? I'm not saying it is to anybody listening to the program that's not Christians, but just looking out the window and looking at a tree. Man can't even make a tree. Never mind, making a human. So it's very, very fascinating. Well, we've got a few minutes here. Can we open up the lines? Are you guys willing to take some questions? All right. Listen, if you can. Yeah, go ahead. You're on with us.
Thank you. On the subject of extraterrestrial life, I've noticed this with, I'll just say, everyday Christians. Every time I bring it up, it's demons. I mean, that's the answer to everything. If it doesn't fit in the Christian doctrine box, it's not true, and it's demons. I need to tell you that I have had these experiences, which I'm not going to get into, but I know what I know, and I have experienced demon attacks. So I don't confuse the two, because demons are evil and it's horrible. But this is a different situation. There's just too much evidence and too many witnesses, and I'm talking about witnesses in the military, in all factors of the military, people that are high-ranking officials, people that are respectable and have great reputations, who have admitted that they have had encounters with this situation. Even Buzz Aldrin, who was one of the astronauts that went to the moon in July '69, he talked about it. He said, we couldn't say anything. We couldn't tell anybody. And they were like, remember how quiet they were when they interviewed them after they came back to Earth? Everybody was all excited. Oh, tell us what it was like to land on the moon. If you look at that interview, those astronauts looked very uncomfortable and were shifty-eyed and didn't want to look at anybody, and they didn't want to talk because of what they went through. And NASA stopped the moon stuff. How can we stop going? What I'm trying to say is there is too much evidence And just because it doesn't fit in a particular belief genre, it doesn't mean it's not true. When I first became a Christian, I had a real problem with it because I knew what I knew to be true, but it seemed to conflict with the Christian faith. So I held my Bible and I prayed to God, please help me to bridge two truths that seem to contradict each other. And the scripture came, Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens. That's all of the universe. And it doesn't say anything more. It just talks about the earth and all about the earth. We have to also know that our Bible that we have today is very limited. Many sacred writings have been omitted. There are many writings that we never got to read. We know that is true. Okay? So I'm just saying that there is something that we don't know. It doesn't mean that something that we can't accept could possibly be true is automatically demons. Thank you.
Any response?
Yes, Rick, may I respond?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So just to respond to the caller about the identity of those aliens, there are reports and testimonials of even Christians and others who encountered those supernatural beings, and that those supernatural beings were aggressive and they attacked humans, okay, on the spiritual and physical levels. So I'm not saying that all the aliens are actually demons, but I said that it's very likely that those aliens, UFOs, are evil spiritual manifestations, because we know that we wage war not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual principalities. So it could be very well that those are spiritual principalities that manifest physically in the world. So it's not necessarily evil spirits per se, but part of that heavenly group of spiritual enemies of God and the believers. So it's not like just one story or one testimony. There are many on this specific topic. And I suggested to read more about this and to watch the teachings of Dr. Chuck Missler on this topic. Thank you.
So that man's name is Jack Missler. Am I hearing that right? Missler?
Chuck.
Oh, Chuck
No,
Missler.
Yes, it's Chuck Missler, right?
Oh, okay, Chuck. Okay. Well, very cool. Thank you, Igal.